I've got a good video for you guys today. This is from a company called PulseTech, and this here is the Xtreme Charge XC400. It's a battery charger maintainer. This here has like a high frequency pulse that, you know, breaks up those lead sulfates that attach themselves to the plates of a battery, and that's what causes batteries a lot of times to fail. Is you'll have, you know, so much lead sulfate attached to it, the battery can't take a good enough charge, and so it kills batteries. And so this helps break that down by sending those high frequencies to the battery down, kind of like an ultrasonic cleaner. You know how they use the high frequencies and, you know, vibration to break down the dirt. Well, this is kind of the same thing. Well, I got this and I was really excited about getting it, and I hooked it up to like 5 different batteries, and each of the 5 batteries that I hooked it up to, it come back bad battery. And I was like, oh man, this thing must be, you know, bad or something. And so I got to tinker around with it. I called tech support up and they were like, you just must have, you know, some really bad batteries. And I got to thinking about it, and I was like, well, this battery here was really old. I found it in the Walmart parking lot. Somebody just left it sitting out there, and I picked it up and brought it home, and the battery was no telling how old, and you know, it just wouldn't take a charge. The charger wouldn't even do anything, but it kept saying bad battery. It would light up. And so the next one, the same thing. You know, I'd had that battery core sitting out there for years and years and years, and you know, there's no telling how old they were. So of course, you know, there was no chance that it was going to revive these things and bring them back from the dead, because there was just no chance of them, you know, being able to be revived. I started tinkering around a little bit more, and I was able to charge up my lawnmower battery. It actually worked on it and brought it back. And then I got another battery here I'll show you that I was able to repair, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But anyways, I've already been using this, so pardon the messy cords. I tried to put it back in the box the best that I could, but I knew I was just going to turn around and reuse it here in just a second. But whenever you open the box up, you'll see that it's got the charger here, and then you've got a really long power cable, and then you've got your cables here that hook on to your batteries. And you can see that they got an inline fuse. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing plugged up and show you just how it works on a couple different batteries here, so you'll know what to expect when you get one. All right, so I went ahead and plugged in the XC400 charger, and you can see right there you've got a green light that tells you that it's on, and then you got a red light right there that says no connection. And you can see that's true. I've got no connection there, so I'm gonna go ahead and hook it up to the battery there, and then it says automatically bad battery. It just goes ahead and lets you know it's not even worth fooling with. It's a bad battery. And that's what I was saying, you know, right off the bat. I hooked it to 5 batteries, and I was, you know, getting kind of aggravated. I was like, does this thing work? But, you know, you can't, you know, charge something if there's no lead plates in there. Let's say some of them are corroded and missing. You can't really you can't resurrect something that's, you know, that far gone. And so anyways, that's pretty much just a dead battery, and you know, all it's going to be used for is just a core. Or you can take them to a scrapyard and they'll give you money for them. So, you know, that's what I'm going to do with mine. So anyways, I was about to give up, and my girlfriend happened to call me, and she said, hey, they're throwing away a UPS at work. Do you want it? I said, sure, bring it home. Like I said, I collect junk. I can't help myself. I'm cheap. Sometimes I hate paying a lot of money for stuff when you can just fix it, you know. And so I try to fix everything, you know, all the time, and so I accumulate a lot of stuff. But anyway, she brought this UPC home, and I pulled the little lead acid battery out of the back of it, and I thought, you know what, this will be a good little test subject, and we'll see if the PulseTech can charge it. And so anyways, I didn't know how long it would take since it's such a small battery, and I started charging on it. You know, I charged it like 1 or 2 days a month ago, and then I had a death in the family, and I kind of just put it on the back burner and unplugged it and left it sitting here for a few weeks, and a couple days ago I started back charging on it again. I was really surprised, because when I started out with this thing, it was only at like 25% down here on the charger. and then it goes up 50%, 75, and then 100. And so after about 4 or 5 days total from last month and then this month, it's been on there 4 or 5 days total. Anyways, it's went from 25% all the way up. It was at 100 earlier. Well, there it goes. It's at 25 now, and here in a few minutes it'll read a little bit higher and it'll jump up higher. But you can see right here that it's charging, and you can see that it's pulsing. Yep, there it goes again. It jumped up to 50%. Once it figures it out that it's at a higher percentage, then it'll pick it up here on the display. Here in a few minutes, I know this thing will go back up to 75 and then 100. But yeah, I'll go ahead and check it though with a multimeter. All right, so I'm sure you guys are wondering, hey, why didn't you just buy another battery? Well, why buy something else if you can fix this one and make it last another year? And so that's what I've done here, is fix this one. You can see right there on the little cheap multimeter from Harbor Freight that it's reading 13.45 volts. So I mean, that's pretty good, guys. And as soon as you plug it back into the UPS, it's just going to start charging it back again, and just help this thing along even more. But hopefully this thing's got some of those crystals dissolved or off those lead acid plates by now, after it's been on the charger for several days, that it should be good. All right, so you guys seen me check it with the digital or the multimeter there, and it come up to 13.4 volts, and that's full charge. And while I was sitting there off camera, I just let the thing stay hooked up. And like I said, it takes it a few minutes to register what percentage it's at. And it's already jumped up to 75%, and I'll give it a few minutes and it'll probably jump up to 100. It might take a few more minutes. If not, here in the next 5 minutes or so, then I'll unplug it. But we tested it with the multimeter, and it's good to go. Now, if you're looking for a charger it's going to be super fast, this is not it. This is just a 4-amp charger. So it's not going to be one of those higher amp chargers, that does it faster. This one works, by giving it just small amps and those pulses, those high frequency pulses, and you keep it on there for, an extended amount of time to slowly eat that sulfation off those lead plates. It does take some time. Now, if you're wondering, if you're like me, you got a few toys, you got a 4-wheeler, and you got your car and your lawnmower, and I've got a battery that goes in my kayak for the trolling motors and all that kind of stuff. And if you've got different batteries that you want to be maintained all the time, like let's say over the winter time or just whenever you're not using it, they make a product that actually hooks in right here. You just unplug this and then you plug in the quad link. And what this is basically a splitter that allows you to split the power of this charger, this XC400 charger, into 4 different ways. And they give you all the connectors to hook it up with, and that way you've got everything that you need. And let's say you're a guy and you got a garage, and you got a couple muscle cars over here, and you got a 4-wheeler over here, and you're gonna actually need to put this kind of in the middle, and then you've got some extension cables in here where you can run to each one of those vehicles. And when I open the box, I know it's going to be intimidating for some people. They're going to see all the wires in here and they're going to freak out. But once you see how it hooks up, you'll be like, that's really nothing. So when I went ahead and opened the box here for you guys, and you can see there's a lot of stuff packed in this box. And while I was opening that box, I looked over, and guess what's at 100%? You can see right there, it's lit up at 100%. So I knew it was coming. It just took it a minute to realize it and figure out that it was at that 100%. And it's fine to still leave it on this charger, because it's still, you can see that it's sending those pulses in there, and it's just continuing to work on that battery. And there's nothing wrong with leaving it on there. That's what this is for. It's an actual battery maintainer charger. So it works good, guys. With this quad link kit, it comes with like an itemized list of everything that it comes with, and one of the things that it comes with is this little battery tester, and it's really neat. It tells you the stage of the battery and if it's good or not, and see if it's worth messing with. We'll go ahead and hook it up right here, and you can see that it's lit up right there at 100%. Keep you from having to pull the voltmeter out, and yeah, it's just a quick little battery tester. And then you've got all the different wires in here. You've got some different extensions. All right, so next, this is the actual quad link, and you can see you've got one wire going in and 4 wires going out. And like I said, this here is just a splitter, and you can charge 4 12-volt batteries with the quad link. And the way that it hooks up is very simple. You go back over here to the XC400, and you've seen that I had the little alligator clips on here where you just unhook these, and that's just an SAE connector, and just set that aside. But you just take this, and like I said, this thing is an SAE connector, and it's dummy proof. You can't mess it up by plugging it in, and it just fits in there one way. And so once you get that hooked up to the quad link, then now you've got to get power out to the different batteries. And this kit here comes with several different extension cables. Now it comes with 4 of these 5-foot long battery extension leads, and so you've got 4 of those. And then for the vehicles on the outside furthest away, then you're going to need some really long extensions, and these here are 25-foot battery extensions, and you got 2 of these. I'm having to read off this paper because there's a lot of stuff in here, and I don't want to give you guys misinformation. And then to be able to hook all of this up to the batteries, you've got 5 different sets of connectors here that's got your ring terminals, your little ring terminals there to hook to a battery, and then you've got an inline fuse there. And then each one of these have that SAE connector on there with a dust cap on there. You just pull that dust cap off, and you want to take and hook up your extension, and you just pull the dust cap off of this. And I gotta say, everything that's included right here has a nice dust cap. Again, you can't plug it in the wrong way. There's a 15-foot extension right there, and then I'm going to hook it right to this right here, and then I'm just going to take and hook this to the battery terminals, and you just hook it to your batteries, and you're good to go. Now also keep in mind, you've still got this one alligator clamp right here with the SAE connector on it, and you could use this right here. Let's say you didn't want to use the bolt-on ring terminals. Let's just say you wanted to just use the clamps like this. You can definitely do that. I wish they would include more of these, because sometimes you don't want to go to the hassle of bolting all these on, but you got to remember, this system is for stuff that you're gonna want to leave unattended and not be using it all the time. Let's say a classic car or a boat or something like that. You're gonna have this hooked up directly, and it's not gonna be stuff that you mess with all the time. Now, you could use these little alligator clips on, let's say, something that you mess with a little bit more, because it's easy to take on and off or whatever. But it's nice to have these, bolt them on and forget them, and you've got that dust cap you can put over there, and when you're not using it, you just put that dust cap on there, and that way you don't have no water or dirt getting in there, and you just forget about it. So this is a pretty neat system. I mean, I know it looks like a lot of wires and stuff, but if you got a lot of toys, this is really the way to go. And I was reading on the box, and it says that this quad link can be used with some other chargers. It says innovative adapter works with all popular battery maintenance charger brands. All right, guys, so for this test, this is just a test. This is nothing hooked up permanently, so don't beat me up in the comments. I know this is not the proper way to hook it up, but I don't have just a car battery laying around or a deep cycle battery laying around, but I do have a lead acid battery inside of a real fancy battery box, power station type of thing. And it comes with some cables that come out of it, and so I've just got the little ring terminals clamped into the negative, and then the positive clamps there. And that's pretty much the same as hooking it up to a battery. Positive, positive, negative to negative. And you can see that this wire runs right over here to the quad link. And the quad link is hooked to the XC400 charger. And you can see right now that it's this is at 25% and it's charging. And you can see that right here where it's plugged into, it's flashing. There's a little green light right in there. Now I have a battery right here, but I don't have the positive connected. But watch, when I connect it, then this lights up and it lets you know that it's connected. And so this one's solid, but this one's flashing, and that lets you know that this one here is charging right now. And in a few minutes, when it's done with its charging cycle, then it'll jump over to this one right here. And that's the way that this quad link works. It goes from one battery to the next, and it does that charging cycle, and then it goes to the next battery. Now, I'm not sure how long it takes. It's just a few minutes, but I don't know an exact time, but it just jumps around and charges all the batteries that are hooked up. Now you can see right here in the middle, there's no lights because there's nothing hooked up. So anyways, I didn't mean to bring this in here and try to confuse anybody, but that's the only battery that I had close by that needed a charge. And you can see right here that it's charging both of these batteries, one after the next. So it's pretty neat how this thing works, and to be able to hook up four different batteries, four separate batteries, that's pretty amazing. So you could charge a whole garage full of toys with one charger, at least up to 4. So that's a pretty neat product. So I just had to go searching for an answer. It says right here in the frequently asked questions that it takes about 15 minutes per cycle before it jumps over to the other battery. And so it said that if you've got a battery that you would like for it to do an extra charge, you could double hook up, the ring terminals. So I could hook up another set of ring terminals to right here, and that way it would charge right here off of this one, and then it would get the charge from this one. It doesn't really matter, as long as it's hooked up, you could stack them, and that way it'd get a 30-minute charge instead of a 15-minute charge. So I thought that was pretty cool. And also, PulseTech offers some solar chargers, and I was curious, would the solar charger work with the quad link? And it says that it does, as long as it didn't exceed. It says yes, the solar charger uses the same connector. It uses 6 volt or 12 volt direct current and does not exceed 8 amp output. Yeah, as long as you've got the correct solar charger, then you can definitely hook it up to the quad link to be able to charge multiple batteries. So that's pretty cool. And you could, let's say with that quad link and the solar charger, let's say you've got an automatic gate with a couple of batteries, or let's say you've got a tractor and a 4-wheeler out in a barn with no electricity. Well, you could hook it up to that solar panel and hook one to the tractor, one to the 4-wheeler, and you could charge it via solar panel. So, PulseTech's got some really cool stuff and really innovative products where it makes it easy to keep all your toys and tools all charged up. So, and you can see right here, guys, this is still charging. It hadn't jumped over to this one yet. Like I said, it takes about 15 minutes, and it'll jump over there. All right, guys, so before I move on to the next product, I just thought I would go ahead and pop that battery that I've been charging that come out of this UPS system, and put it back in there and put the cover on it, and I tried it. And sure enough, it worked. But I wanted to show you guys. I've got this plugged into the wall outlet. I'm going to unplug it, and you can see right there, guys, it lets you know that there's no grid power. It's just running off the battery, and that's pretty amazing to be able to take somebody's junk that they were going to throw in the garbage, and hey, it's free. And these things aren't cheap. They're about $120 for this particular unit, and the batteries aren't cheap for them anymore either, especially if you get the one that's come in this model. I think it was somewhere around 40 bucks, somewhere in there. So you know, that it seems to work good. The alarm's letting you know that, you know, it's off of grid power. And so anyways, the only reason I wanted this thing was I thought, well, I'll just take that battery and back up and hook it to my Wi-Fi router and my modem. And so if the power ever goes out, I know I'll have Wi-Fi on my phone for a little while. Let's say the, you know, a storm comes through, knocks the power out. I'll still be able to get on my cell phone and check the weather for a little while until the battery runs out. I just thought I'd show you guys that it's pretty neat to be able to take trash and make it into something working again. Now, just to prove to you, you know, here's the power cord. Not trying to pull a fast one here. I ain't got no hidden cable up underneath the table there. And this is going right to this lamp here. You can see right there when I plug it back in, still got power. All right, so on to the next product. This here is the SP12, and basically it is a solar panel that has the charger, the PulseTech charger, and it's pretty much just like the SC400 charger, except on a smaller scale. So this solar charger is rated at 12 watts, and it says right here that 12 watts, 750 milliamps, and this thing here is a lot smaller than most of your solar panels. That's 12 watts. You know, if normal solar panels a lot bigger than this and a lot heavier, and usually they have like an aluminum frame that goes around it, and you know, like a glass top. And where this one here is mounted on like a piece of aluminum, and it's encapsulated with polyurethane. So it's wrapped in that polyurethane, and this thing is pretty much indestructible. I talked to the guys at PulseTech, and I seen some of the videos online and of them taking a baseball bat and hitting this thing, and it's still producing power. And one of the guys at PulseTech told me that they even shot the thing with a rifle and it still worked. So that's pretty crazy. You could, you know, hook this up to your vehicle permanently and mount it on a roof and not even have to worry about, you know, hail damage or nothing like that, you know, unless it's just like huge hail. I'm sure that this thing would hold up to the weather really well. And it's supposed to be one of the most indestructible solar panels that they make. But also you could mount it in a window. Now, they did say that if your window's tinted, that it would reduce the amount of wattage that you would get. This particular model here has an OBD port, and it also comes with ring terminals. So if you want to mount it directly to the battery, you can do that. And the way that it mounts up is you got a long cable here. I believe it's 17 foot of cable. And then you've got your little box there. And then you've got this wire here that connects either to the ring terminals or to the OBD port up underneath your dash. And like I was saying, you can mount it to a window, you can mount it to a sunroof or whatever. And you know, I just think this would be really neat. You know, if you got a roof rack on top of your Jeep, you could probably adapt this with some bracing or whatever and mount it to a roof rack. And that way, you know, this thing's small, doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's only about 1/8 of an inch thick. So, you know, you're not going to have any kind of drag. It's going to be nice and flat, where some of those other solar panels have got a really thick frame, and when you're going down the road, it's probably going to cut down on some of your gas mileage. But, you know, right now I've got it set up to where it's got these little spacers in here, these little metal spacers, and then they're hooked to the suction cup. So what you can do with this is just take and, you know, wet these and stick it on the top of a sunroof on the inside of your vehicle, or stick it to the front windshield, or just anywhere where, you know, that sun's coming in. That way you get the most sun and get the most power out of this thing. So I'm going to take you guys outside and show you how to hook it up on my Toyota RAV4, and maybe it'll show you guys a little bit clearer on what I'm talking about, and how to hook it up to the OBD port and how to hook it up to the ring terminals. You know, sometimes seeing somebody do it's a little easier for some people to learn that way. Now, for you people that says, oh, that thing ain't doing anything, I don't believe it's connected. Well, I've got it hooked up right here to, you know, a multimeter, and I'm just checking the direct current volts. and you can see that it's at 19.4 volts. And I know what you're going to say, well, you know, that's too high. You know, you need a 12 volt system. Well, if your solar panel only put out 12 volts, you would never be able to charge a 12 volt battery. It would never be able to add any more to it than 12 volts, and it would never be able to charge. So, you know, you can see right there that it's actually producing power. So that's pretty neat to be able to, you know, get that kind of power out of a little bitty solar panel. Like I said, it's rated at 12 watts. And so you can see that I'm not bluffing, guys. Today is really cloudy. You can see right over there, dark clouds, and it's fixing to come a storm. All right, guys, so here we've got a 2024 RAV4. Just got it a little while back. And you know, one of the things about the RAV4s they were talking about on the earlier models were that they were having problems where, you know, the battery had a parasitic drain on it, and it would cause it to die if you didn't drive the vehicle very often for the alternator to charge it. And so I thought, well, this might be a good product for that, because I don't know if they've got it fixed. Hopefully by now that they do, but I haven't had any problems with it. But I just wanted to take a precautionary and have a way to keep the battery charged. Now, one of the ways that you could use this solar panel charger is you could just leave the solar panel right there on the windshield or on the roof or on the hood, wherever, and you know, just run your wire down through here to the battery. And I'll show you how to hook that up. What you do is, it has all these SAE connectors on here, so you can only plug them in really one way, and then you plug them into this little PulseTech box. This is the high frequency box, just like on the wall charger, like you'd plug into your house. And then you've got these two wires here, and your positive is clearly marked with red heat shrink, and then it's got that inline fuse right in there. So it's got safety built into it if you was to short it out. And then all you would do is just bring it down here to your battery, and this here is your positive side, and you would just hook it up to your positive, hook this up to your negative, and it's gonna start charging through that solar panel. And you know, it's pretty amazing that this little solar panel is able to put out as much power as it does. Now obviously, if you don't want to leave the solar panel out where somebody could steal it, then you can always set it in your window there, or you've got the suction cups where you can stick it to the glass. Now keep in mind, it's probably going to work better if it's, you know, suction cupped up there, but it's still going to work just sitting there on the dash. You ain't got to hook it in. But the way that, you know, it would hook up is very simple, guys. You take and you plug it up underneath the port, up underneath the dash. It's a little OBD port. Sorry about the shaky camera work, but you can see that OBD port right there. And then this end just plugs right up in there to it. As simple as that. And then we're going to follow that wire all the way up to that first connector there. And then it plugs right into the PulseTech box. You can see that the LED light's on. And then this wire here goes right up to that solar panel. And then you got these little standoffs right here hooked to the little suction cups, and it just works. And I've already tested it. I took it a step further, and it said, before I hooked anything up, it said 12.51 volts, and I can already tell that it's going up a little bit just from like a couple of minutes of being on the charger. And I just drove it like a good, you know, 40 minutes to Chattanooga and back, and you know, it is still charging it. And this is a new battery, guys. This thing's only like a, you know, maybe a little over a month old, and you know, it's still charging it. So it, you know, I asked them whenever I got it, you know, would it, you know, cause any harm to the electrical system or any of that? You know, I didn't want to mess my new vehicle up. And they were like, no, the only thing that you might have occur is, you know, if you were trying to listen to the AM radio. They said that the PulseTech box would, you know, sometimes mess with the signal. But other than that, I mean, there ain't very many people listen to the AM radio very much anymore. So I figured I'd be fine. But yeah, they said you can use it on your battery right from the get-go. On a new battery, it just helps keep those crystals from forming on the plates and make your battery last a lot longer. They said up to 3 times longer than just without using it. So that's pretty impressive, guys. I mean, if the military uses it, then should be good enough for me. And like I said just a couple minutes ago, it was at 12.51 volts. You can see right there it's at 12.53 volts. So it is supplying power. I don't know how well you guys can see that or not, but I'll try to hold it and test it at the same time. All right, there you go, guys. I've got a probe stuck in there on the battery, and you can see it's at 12.53. Just like a couple minutes ago it was at 12.51. So it is charging. It is doing its job. So just wanted to prove it. So next, I'm here on the PulseTech website, and I just wanted to show you the different solar panels that they've got. They've got page after page of different types and different wattages and all that. But the one that I got was this one here. It's the SP12 SolarPulse OBD-A, and again, it comes with a OBD port, and then it also comes with the ring terminals where you could connect it directly to the battery. And now keep in mind, you don't just use these for automotive use. You could use these on a four-wheeler, or you could use them on a snowmobile. You could use them on one of those electric gates, and you could just use them anywhere where you need to charge a 12-volt battery. Now keep in mind, when I say a 12-volt battery, I don't mean a lithium battery, just a sealed lead acid battery, or a flooded battery, just something that has those lead plates in there. And yeah, you should be good. But yeah, it's a pretty cool product, and they've got, like I said, a bunch of different pages of different solar panels and different at different price levels. I mean, you got some for $100 all the way up to $300-400 or more. Now the reason why I went with the SP12, I could have went with just some like little cheap solar panel off Amazon, and I'll tell you the reason why I didn't. And that's because back in 2017 I bought a truck, and I had a lot of problems out of the transmission out of it eventually, and I got to where I didn't drive it much, and so I had the battery replaced probably about 3 years later, and that's fine. But then once I replaced that second battery, I thought, well, since this one didn't last that long, I'll get like a little bitty solar panel, just like a little 5-watt one that plugs into your cigarette lighter. And it was somewhere around that size right there. Now, because it was just a solar panel and it didn't have any kind of pulse technology to it where it would keep it from crystallizing on those plates. And I guess what happened was I just kept it charged all the time, and I guess that plates just got corroded, and when I went to crank it one day, it wouldn't start. And the reason being, it would always start with the solar panel plugged in, and then the day that I went to trade it back into the dealership, I unplugged it a couple days before to go ahead and get the vehicle cleaned back up and this, that, and the other. And then the day I went to go trade it in, I had a dead battery. And, that just kind of lets me know that solar panel being plugged in all the time for all those, years, that it just didn't like it. The battery didn't last at all. And, it wasn't no cheap battery. It was the top of the line General Motors battery, because it was they replaced it under warranty. That's one reason why I wanted something like this, is because to keep all that oxidation from forming on those lead plates and all that. Anyways, that's my take on it. If you want to get on the PulseTech website, they can show you all the different products that they carry. And I don't work for these people. I messaged them and asked them to send me a product so I could take a look at it and give them my thoughts. And just wanted to do just a quick review on it and all that. So anyways, check out their website. They've got pretty much anything and everything battery related. All right, so I'm sorry for such a long video, but I could literally talk on this stuff for probably another 2 hours, and there's just a lot of questions and things like that. So I'm going to direct you to the frequently asked questions page on the PulseTech website, or contact them. They're very knowledgeable and helpful. I called them this week and spoke to a guy named, I believe, Jonathan, and he's very helpful and was able to answer a lot of my questions. I really appreciate you guys tuning in for this. Like I said, I know it was a long video, but you know, hopefully this helped you guys out. And I gotta say, PulseTech makes some really good products. You know, I'm very impressed that you know, that it was able to revive that battery and bring it back, you know. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll see my future videos when I upload them. And also make sure you check down in the description, you know, for the PulseTech website. I'll put a link to it down below. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, see ya.